Adanma's name was everywhere, on radio, on television, on billboards. Best graduating student department of mass communication, Imo State Polytechnic. Everywhere she went, people whispered her name with pride. The same name Ruth once spat out with disgust had now become a melody across Imo State. Even Chief Okafor couldn't ignore her brilliance. He called her one morning himself. "Adanma, my daughter," he said warmly. "Your story is an inspiration, and I must commend your brilliance. I want you to come and work with us at our Lagos branch in the communication department." "Lagos?" Adanma asked. "Yes," Chief Okafor replied. "I will instruct the head of human resource to send your appointment letter by tomorrow." 2 days later, a courier arrived with a cream-colored envelope embossed with gold, the logo of Okafor and Sons Holdings shining proudly at the top. Her hands trembled as she opened it. The words felt unreal, like something out of her wildest dreams. Appointment letter. "Dear Miss Adanma Obi, we are pleased to inform you that, following your outstanding academic performance, you have been offered employment as a media relations officer at our Lagos Corporate Communications Department. Your appointment takes effect from March 1st under the following benefits and entitlements. Monthly salary, 580,000 naira only. Official accommodation, fully furnished 2-bedroom apartment in Surulere, Lagos. Transportation, official car with driver for work-related duties. Health coverage, full medical insurance, inclusive of dependent. Travel opportunities, eligibility for corporate media events in Dubai, South Africa, and London. Annual leave, 30 working days with travel allowance. Performance bonus, up to 25% of annual salary based on media impact rating. We believe your creativity, discipline, and communication skills will greatly enhance our brand image across the nation. Congratulations, Miss Adanma Obi, and welcome to Okafor and Sons Holdings. Adanma couldn't hold back her tears. The letter shook in her hands. For years, she had dreamed of working in a place where her value was seen. Now it was happening. She folded the letter gently, pressed it to her heart, and whispered through tears, "From hawking milk under the sun to a media officer in Lagos. Mama, your daughter did it." A week later, a black Prado SUV with the company logo stopped in front of their compound. The driver stepped out in a crisp white shirt and said politely, "Good morning. I'm here to take Miss Adanma Obi to Lagos on behalf of Chief Okafor." Everyone came outside. The neighbors peeped from their windows. Children whispered in awe. Adanma stepped out, looking stunning in her new corporate dress and simple gold earrings. Her beauty glowed, not the beauty of makeup, but of destiny fulfilled. The driver helped her load her bag into the car. Obi walked around her proudly, beaming. "My daughter, you've made me the happiest father alive." Adanma smiled and hugged him tightly. "Papa, you've done enough. Mama would be proud of you too." Then, slowly, she turned toward Ruth. Ruth sat on the wooden chair near the window, her hands clasped together, her eyes distant. Pride wouldn't let her speak. Shame wouldn't let her move. She wanted to say, "I'm sorry," but the words died in her throat. She just watched as Adanma stood, her heart heavy, her lips trembling. The same girl she once made hawk milk under the sun was now being driven to Lagos in a company car. Adaura stood beside her mother, her face cold. Jealousy burned inside her like dry fire. Why her? She thought bitterly. Why not me? Kingsley, however, couldn't hold back his emotions. He rushed to Adanma and hugged her tightly, whispering, "Sister, I'm proud of you. Please, don't forget me." Adanma's eyes filled with tears. "I'll never forget you, Kingsley. You were the only light in this house when darkness tried to swallow me." As she entered the car, Obi turned to Ruth and said, his voice low but sharp, "You see the girl you once called useless? That's the same girl making this family proud today. God has vindicated her." Ruth looked down, her hands trembling, but she said nothing. The car engine roared, and just like that, Adanma was gone to a city where her name would open doors. The journey from Imo to Lagos was long but peaceful. Adanma watched the trees blur past, her mind filled with memories, her mother's laughter, the beatings, the hunger, the nights she cried alone. She whispered softly, "Mama and Kayjee, your daughter didn't fail." When she arrived in Lagos, she was welcomed by a company representative who led her to her apartment. The building was tall, painted in cream and grey, with flowers neatly lined at the gate. The gateman handed her a key with a smile. "Welcome, madam. You're the new tenant in flat 2B. She opened the door and froze. The apartment was breathtaking: polished tiles, cream curtains, new furniture, a TV on the wall, and a note on the dining table. "Welcome home, Adanma, from Chief Okafor and family." Tears rolled freely. She knelt on the floor and whispered, "From begging for food to being celebrated, Lord, I'm grateful." That night, she lay on the bed and smiled. For the first time in her life, sleep came with peace, not pain. The next morning, she got ready for work and she was assigned to her office. Within months, her creativity and discipline earned her respect among her colleagues. She became known as the girl with the golden voice because every campaign she handled went viral. She spoke at events. Her words moved crowds. Her smile lit up rooms. Soon, she sent money home every month to her father. Her life was blooming just like the flowers she once admired through other people's windows. Meanwhile, back in Owerri, the wind had changed. Ruth's grocery shop was empty. Customers stopped coming. Debts piled up. The same shop that once fed her pride now became her burden. One hot afternoon, after another customer refused to buy on credit, Ruth sat on the floor of the shop and broke down in tears. "How did I end up like this?" she murmured. "What kind of life is this?" Adaora, her daughter, was sitting nearby, pressing her phone with irritation. "Maybe if you treated Adanma better, she would have helped you by now," a neighbor said mockingly. Ruth shot her a glare, but the words stung. To make matters worse, Adaora was 3 months pregnant again. The father? Gone. The same Ruth who once bragged about her daughter's beauty now shouted at her every day, "Look at your life, Adaora. Shame upon shame. You've turned into a disgrace. You see your sister Adanma? She's in Lagos now, working in a big company, on TV. in magazines. And you pregnant and useless? Adaura's face flushed with anger. Stop comparing me to her. You're the reason she left us. You hated her so much, now see your life. The slap came so fast, Adaura screamed. Ruth was shaking with rage, tears filling her eyes. You ungrateful child, after everything I did for you. Obi, who had been sitting quietly in the living room, stormed out. That's enough, Ruth. You turned this house into a war zone. You ruined everything with your bitterness. Now live with it. He threw the broken stool aside and walked out, slamming the door. Ruth fell to her knees, sobbing. Oh God, how did I lose everything? That night, Ruth stared at herself in the mirror. Her once beautiful face was tired and aged. Her hands were rough, her eyes swollen from tears. On the small TV in the corner, the evening news played, and there, shining on the screen, was Adanma, confident, poised, elegant, standing beside Chief Okafor at a corporate event in Lagos, giving a speech titled Turning Pain into Purpose. Ruth froze. The remote slipped from her hand. She watched as Adanma smiled, saying, I am not who life said I should be. I am who I decided to become. A single tear rolled down Ruth's cheek. Her heart clenched with something she hadn't felt in years' regret. She reached out to touch the TV screen, whispering through trembling lips, Adanma, my daughter, I'm sorry. But the apology came too late. The screen faded to black, and all Ruth could hear was the echo of her own voice. Years ago, shouting at Adanma holding a tray of milk, Don't come back home unless you sold everything. That day, Ruth slept with so much regrets in her heart. A few weeks later, Kingsley called Adanma, his voice trembling with shame. Sister, ever since I got rusticated, I have been roaming about the street. Please, I wish to go back school. Adanma's voice was calm but firm. Kingsley, you made mistakes, yes, but that doesn't mean your story is over. You're not a failure, you just fell. She paused, then continued. I'm giving you a second chance. I will enroll you into a university in Anambra. You'll start afresh, but this time, make me proud. Kingsley broke down in tears. I won't let you down, I promise. Thank you for believing in me. That day, for the first time in years, Kingsley smiled with genuine hope. Adanma became not just a sister, but his destiny helper. That night, after her call with Kingsley ended, Adanma sat quietly on her bed, staring at the ceiling fan turning slowly above her. Her heart felt heavy, yet peaceful. She had made a decision, one born out of love, not logic. She reached for her phone and scrolled to a familiar name, Amaka, her course mate from the university, who now worked at Anambra State University as a staff. She hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and dialed. Hello, Amaka. Long time, Adanma said softly. Ada, baby, is this really you? Lego's big woman? Amaka laughed. Please don't start. Adanma chuckled faintly. I actually need your help with something serious. Talk to me, Amaka said, her tone changing. It's about my younger brother, Kingsley. He made some mistakes and got rusticated from his former school. But he's changed, Amaka. I want to give him another chance. Please, can you help me secure admission for him at Anambra State University where you work? Amaka was quiet for a moment. It won't be easy, Ada. But because it's you, I'll do my best. Send me his details tomorrow, and I'll see what I can do. Adanma sighed in relief. God bless you, Amaka. You have no idea what this means to me. You're welcome, my dear. You've always had a big heart. I just hope your family appreciates it this time. When the call ended, Adanma's eyes filled with tears, not from sadness, but from the strange peace that comes when you choose to do good even after being hurt. 3 weeks later, Amaka called back with good news. Ada, it's done. Your brother's admission letter is ready. He'll be resuming next semester. Adanma gasped. Are you serious? Oh my God, Amaka, thank you. Thank you so much. You owe me one big lunch when next I'm in Lagos, Amaka teased. You get more than that, Adanma laughed through her tears. That night, Adanma wired the school fees and hostel payment herself. When the receipts arrived, she took a deep breath and called Kingsley. Kingsley, she began softly, your admission into Anambra State University has been approved. You'll start next semester. There was silence on the line. What? Kingsley's voice cracked. It's true. She smiled. Amaka helped me. I've already paid your fees. You'll receive your documents tomorrow. But sis, he stammered, after everything, after how Mama treated you, after how I kept quiet. Kingsley? Adanma interrupted gently. I didn't do it because you deserve it. I did it because I love you and because forgiveness is stronger than revenge. Kingsley broke down crying. His tears fell freely as he whispered, I won't fail you again, Ada. I promise. That's all I ask, she said, her voice trembling. Just make me proud. The next morning, Kingsley returned home with his admission letter. Obi was sitting under the mango tree, while Ruth was washing clothes nearby. Papa! Mama! Kingsley shouted, waving the letter. I got admission again. Obi jumped up. What? After everything? How did you manage that? Adanma did it, Kingsley said proudly. She called one of her friends in Anambra and got me in. She even paid all the bills. Obi froze. Adanma? That same girl your mother turned away years ago? Kingsley nodded, tears already filling his eyes. Yes, Papa. She said everyone deserves a second chance. Obi dropped to his chair, shaking his head in disbelief. Oh God, thank you. That girl has a heart of gold. He turned to Ruth, who had gone silent, her hands still dripping water from the basin. Ruth, do you hear what Adanma has done? Ruth's lips quivered. I heard, she murmured. You heard? Obi's voice rose. Adanma is changing lives while you still carry pride like a crown. Tears welled in Ruth's eyes, but she quickly turned away. She didn't want anyone to see her weakness. Weeks later, Kingsley resumed at Anambra State University. He called Adanma often, updating her on his studies. She could hear hope in his voice, again the same hope she once thought was lost. Each time they spoke, she would remind him, Kingsley, don't just go to school. Go and rebuild our name. And he would always answer, yes, Ada, I'll make you proud. One Sunday morning, the church was filled to the brim. The choir had just finished a soulful hymn when Chief Obi slowly stood up from his seat. His steps were steady, but his heart was heavy with emotion. He cleared his throat, his voice slightly shaking as he began, "Brethren, I want to share something that has been burning in my heart for years." The congregation turned their attention toward him. Even Ruth, sitting quietly at the back, looked up nervously. "You see," Obi continued, "sometimes, as men, we think we are doing the right thing by trusting our wives completely with the affairs of the home. We send money, we assume all is well, and we never take time to listen to our children. But that is how I failed as a father." The entire church went silent. I thought I was being a responsible man, providing, traveling, sending money, not knowing that my little girl was suffering under my own roof, my late wife's only child, my Adanma. His voice broke slightly, but he steadied himself. If only I had asked questions. If only I had paid attention. If only I had listened. Maybe I would have seen the pain in her eyes. He paused, his eyes glistening with tears. "Fathers," he said, raising his hand gently, "never neglect your children in the name of trust. Always double-check. Don't just assume things are fine at home. Sometimes, the ones you trust the most could be the ones breaking your child's spirit." The room went still. Mothers sniffled quietly. Some men bowed their heads. "Today," Obi continued, his voice now filled with both pride and sorrow, "that same girl I failed to protect has become the light of this family. She is the reason my son is back in school. She is the reason I can stand here without shame." He took a deep breath, his eyes moving slowly toward Ruth, who sat trembling on the back pew. "If you have a child who's been wronged, go home today and make peace. Don't wait till it's too late. Pride destroys families. Love rebuilds them." The church erupted into slow claps, not of excitement, but of deep conviction. Ruth couldn't hold it in anymore. Tears streamed down her face uncontrollably. She pressed her palms to her eyes, as if trying to hide her guilt from everyone around her. For the first time in her life, Ruth realized that she wasn't just a cruel stepmother, she was a woman who had allowed bitterness to blind her to the beauty of love. That night, Ruth whispered a prayer she had never prayed before. "God, give me the courage to face Adanma, to say sorry before it's too late." Months later, Adanma returned home for a community award event. She came in an official car, her driver opened the door, and people gathered to see her. Obi ran to hug her, shouting, "My daughter, my pride. The same people who mocked me now greet me with respect." Kingsley came next, beaming proudly, "Sister, I passed all my exams. I'll be graduating next year." "That's my brother." Adanma smiled, pulling him into a hug. "You made me proud." Ruth stood quietly by the doorway, watching the joy unfold. Her heart melted, but her lips stayed sealed. Finally, Obi turned to her sharply. "Ruth, say something. Will you keep pretending you don't see what God has done?" She trembled, tears filling her eyes. "What can I say?" she whispered. "I have no words, only shame." Adanma walked to her, holding her hands gently. "Mama Ruth, no shame, only grace. I forgave you long ago." Ruth burst into uncontrollable tears, falling to her knees. "I wronged you, my daughter. I wronged you." Adanma helped her up, smiling through her own tears. "We all fall, Mama. But what matters is rising again with love." Adanma stayed home for 2 weeks. She renovated the house, restocked Ruth's empty shop, and gave Kingsley a new laptop for school. She even enrolled Adanma into a fashion academy, giving her a fresh start. That night, as they sat under the soft moonlight, Ruth finally said, "Adanma, you've shown me that forgiveness is stronger than pride. I wasted years hating you, but you spent yours loving us." Adanma smiled faintly. "Mama, the pain made me stronger. I thank God it didn't make me bitter." As her car drove back to Lagos the next morning, Adanma looked out through the window, whispering, "Mama and Kayjee, your daughter made it, and I carried your heart with me." Her journey from hawking on dusty streets to owning her own name in the city was proof that no one can stop a destiny chosen by God. When life breaks you, let success rebuild you. When hatred rises, let forgiveness silence it. Because one day, your story will be the very thing that humbles your enemies. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe so more people can believe that pain can still birth purpose.